Today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to decorate a wall in a house using emulsion paint, brush and roller. I hope this is useful. Subscribe if you like it, give it a like. Comments welcome, of course, as always. Today I'm using Dulux paint. This is a nutmeg white. There are lots of paints available. Get a decent one. I'm trying to get something that covers in one coat, similar to the colour I've got, so we should be okay. I'm just trying to stir this up. I don't want to get a stick in it. I can give it a shake, holding the lid on. There we go, job done. Screwdriver into here. You can see I've already used some of this, tested it out, wanted to make sure that it's the colour I wanted. There we go, beautiful. It is different, looks kind of similar, but you'll see it is different. Just going to take off the excess here, put this in the pot. Now there's a few things about painting and decorating that obviously are risky, particularly working at height. I'm going to be doing that. You'll see me using a ladder later. If you're working in your own home, you can do that risk assessment for yourself. You decide how to safely do the work. If you're doing decorating for your employer, they have a responsibility for your health and safety, so you need to make sure that the work is appropriately assessed and the right equipment is being used. I have a roller, which is a nice fluffy roller. I've just cleaned this one off, and a decent brush, which has been used before, but it's a good quality brush. And what's this one? 40mm brush, I think, but I could easily use a 50 or a 60 just for these edges. Standard tray. Into the tray, pour some paint. Not masses, just enough to fill that lower part. I don't want to be carrying huge trays of paint around, so I can keep filling that up. Pop this paint to one side. This tray has some nice holes in it, and obviously my roller I'll be using on here to roll out. See if we can maybe get some close-ups. Right, starting with this line along here, what I'm going to try and do is do the edges. So I'm actually going to do the top half above this dado rail. So I'm going to start along this line right to the end, go all the way around the edges, and then I'll infill the medium section with a roller. So getting some paint on my brush, I'm just going to work it into the brush to get the brush wet first and fill the bristles a bit, just evening that out. I don't want any blobs in this, so I'm just going to even this out. And once there's a bit of dirt in there, let's get rid of that. Once I've got the bristles wet, I can then load this brush with some new fresh paint. And what I'm going to try and do here, holding the stock with my thumb and fingers, not the handle, I'm holding the stock. I'm going to try and run the edge of these bristles along the edge in a continuous motion. And what that will do is give me the line that I'm after, hopefully without painting the woodwork. Now, you can do it with the edge that I've just done it there, or potentially you can do it with the tip of the brushes that way. The challenge is to get a nice even coat on so that you don't have to keep going back over and doing more coats. And as you can see with this paint, it is covering quite well, so I may actually be able to do this in one coat. And certainly for this video I'm going to do one coat, even if I have to go back and do it all again. So because you won't be able to notice on the video if there's really bad bits, unless it's terrible. So that is how we do the edges. I'll carry on along here, and then we'll put it on a slow-mo, or rather we'll put it on a time lapse, and you'll see the whole room come together very, very quickly. But there we go. So holding the stock and running along the edges like so. Fairly straightforward. Now you've noticed I've not put much paint on this brush. This has happened quite quickly, but it's going to happen a lot faster as I carry on. So we'll go into a time lapse for doing the edges. Just worth noting that if you do make a small mistake, like I have here, you can actually get a wet rag and very carefully just run it along to clear it back to the edge. So now the edge is looking good. Again, right, we'll carry on. Just wanted to have a quick look at this corner here because I was starting to do it and then I thought actually you might want to see this. Getting into corners is really tricky. So what I'm going to try and do is use the square corner end of the brush here to get in. And you can see I'm sort of pushing the bristles in there, into that corner. Now I've got a little bit too much on the brush there, which is why it's overspilled. But the principle is pretty good. I've got into that corner. And now I can work away from it, like so. Oh, cobweb. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I'm just going to brush this out to take away the excess. Like that. There we go. Now reload the brush and I'll carry on. Just a little note on electrical things. If you paint around an electrical thing and someone changes it, you invariably there'll be a different shape and size when you put a new one up. This is a burglar alarm detector. Now, I don't recommend that you start messing with these unless you know what the engineer's code is and you can put it in an engineer's mode, because what I've just done there is tamper with it. There's a switch in here that tells the system, and you may not be able to reset it if you do that. But ideally what we do is either loosen or take things off so that we can get to them. Obviously with electricity there's a risk that you will electrocute yourself, so you shouldn't be taking off particularly sockets and light switches, but you may be able to loosen them slightly so you can get a brush just behind it. But again, you need to be careful. If that brush hits a live terminal, you could get a shock, so be very wary. Now, as you can see with this one, I've managed to just pull it away. There's a lot of cobwebs behind here. But now I can actually paint behind this, and I can let the paint dry, and then I can put it back again. And it'll look much better. You can see this hasn't been painted from last time when the frame was painted. Someone didn't take this off, so I'm doing a better job this time. My wife just said, someone, and obviously that was me. So yeah. I will throw myself under the bus. I didn't paint under it last time. Right, so now we're on to the rollering part. I'm just going to get the paint roller. Really need to get the paint into this roller, which means turning it and getting it, rolling it onto this tray so that we get a nice even coating. It's important to soak it into this roller because when we go to put it on the wall we don't want it to drip off, so it actually has to be held in the bristles of the roller. So just get that in there. Difficult to film and do at the same time, but that's looking good. Right. Up to the wall. And I'm going to be working now into these lines that I've done, and because I've done all of these edges I can roll within those. I pick this roller up and I'm putting it onto the wall here, and I'm going to try and keep this thick enough that I only need to do one coat. Now, this edge I can see hasn't covered very well. It might be because it's drying and it's getting lighter, but we'll see when it fully dries whether I need to do another coat. And ideally I'm going to take this, notice I'm going quite slowly, I'm going to take this right up to the top so that I do this in sections and work my way across the wall. and that is it. I've just used, so that's it. I've used a roller full of paint, and all I've done is go to this height. There's another half to go, so I'm going to be using a lot of rollers of paint to do this. So let's pop you back over here, and you can see that full height process. So loading the roller, carrying on up. See, I put the alarm detectors back up in that corner. It's not touching the wall, I've just left it loose, but it's out of the way so I can get the roller up there. There we go, so that's the first one now done. I'm going to move on to the next one and gradually work my way across this wall. Okay, the more observant of you will have noticed that I cannot get to the top of this wall with this little short-handed roller. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to keep going up the ladder because working at height is dangerous, I'm going to use a long reach roller. A messy job of trying to get this onto here because I don't want to load a new roller if I can avoid it. So let's that one's off there. I'll get the other one in the tray. There we go. So the roller's now on this extending pole. Just go and wash my hands. Okay, so with this extending pole, you can twist it, unlock it, and you can extend it. And this means that if you're doing ceiling work, which you would do ahead of doing the walls, so if you dropped anything, you can then paint over it. You can actually reach the ceilings with this. See if I over here. There we go. You can see that I can reach very easily up to the ceiling with this roller. It'll rain paint on me occasionally, but you know, again, it's as we did before. Go slowly, load it so that it's not overloaded, but it's got enough to do what you want to do, and you can then gently run it back and forth in nice even lines and make up the whole space using the roller in a methodical way. It means you don't have to use a step ladder, you're not working at height, it's much safer. So I'm going to carry on using this for the rest of this section. Noting as well, I've just had to refill my tray, so I've done quite a small bit of wall with a tray full of paint. So we are putting this on quite thick. So there we go, we'll just do one row with this. Let's shorten my handle right down again because I don't need it very long for this because I'm only about a foot too short for this high ceilinged house. We'll load up the roller in my tray. And on it goes. Oh, doorbell, that's annoying. Let's just get this done and then we'll get out of the way for the door. And it looks like my mother. Okay. I think she'll want a cup of tea. Let's send her around. There we go. So there we go. That's a quick video on how we paint walls. Do the jigsaw process. Do the edge first, then do the middle. Nice clean lines, nice loaded brush, nice and slow, nice loaded roller, nice and slow. Take your time, don't spill anything, and nice damp cloth to get those edges back where it does go wrong, which inevitably it will. As usual, stay safe, subscribe if you like it. Thanks ever so much.